Welcome to Two Guys, Two Questions, a chaotic, unscripted podcast.
Yeah, surprise questions with no prep.
I'm Ryan Keaton, a real estate guy who's happiest with an ocean view.
And I'm Jared Greer, a retro toy fanatic / loather who may or may not have a Batman cape within arm's reach right now.
You definitely do.
You don't know that.
From alligators to vibrators, superheroes to existential crisis, we cover it all.
Plus, every month we'll bring in a mystery guest and try to keep things extra unpredictable.
So if you like spontaneous conversations, French bulldogs stealing the show, and two guys who think they're funnier than they probably are, then you're in the right place.
Yep. Well, enough of this. Let's do this. Two Guys, Two Questions starts now.
Hey, there we are.
Live.
What's up, Ron?
Enjoyed the weather, man.
Yeah, no shit.
Has it not been, which is just part of the deal, but I know we got a couple days of cold coming, I think, and towards the end of the week, but it's just nice to have something comfortable outside.
Yeah, it's like 70 damn degrees out there right now.
Beautiful. So was last week a success?
Yeah, actually, it's really good. Except my friend Ryan didn't come down.
Yeah.
Opted
for the granddaughter visit.
Can't probably.
You don't have one of those yet, right?
No. No, nope.
They're pretty awesome. They are pretty awesome.
Come on.
It was her birthday weekend, so we went down for that, and it's pretty cool. I wrote like a little kid's book, and essentially wrote her a book, and then kind of animated it, or not animated it, but illustrated it. So she basically wrote a story. She loves going to the farmer's market. Her and her parents go to the farmer's market every single Saturday morning. They go get their stuff that they're going to cook for the week and then come back. So she loves that. So I've been on that little trip multiple times, and that's essentially, I wrote a book. She calls me Pop. So as Pops and Nora go to the farmer's market. So she really dug the fact that she was the star of the book.
Yeah. So you fancy yourself a book writer sometimes?
I think I have the ability. I got the creativity, and it was kind of comical because I don't know that I quite grasped how hard it was to make sure that you're tailoring the language and the way that the sentence structure and all that kind of stuff for a 4-year-old. But I guess I pulled it off. She was happy, and that's all that mattered. I'm not sure that it's going to Penguin or anything like that. It's getting published soon, but
So funny story related to that a little bit. When I was so from the time I was in kindergarten till I was in 5th grade, there was a kid in every class I had. His name was Jose. And Jose got in trouble every day. Every day, Jose got paddled. I'm saying kindergarten, 1st grade. This is back in the day when they beat your ass, man.
Yeah.
Jose got paddled every day. So I came home from school so much with stories about Jose doing stupid shit that my family assumed Jose was my best friend. So one year for Christmas, my grandmother, I guess, saw an ad in a newspaper or something. I don't know how the hell you got in touch with things back then. Maybe saw it on TV. That they would write a Sesame Street kids story with your child as the star. So my grandma had that made for me, and it was all about me and Jose going to Sesame Street. And I'm like, I don't like this fucking kid. So
the class convict.
Yeah. So anyway, it kind of fits in with your.
You still have a book with you and
me and
infamous Jose.
Me and Jose just chilling. I don't know whatever happened to that kid. He's probably in federal prison now, really, but.
Or he could have turned into a superstar, man. He could have turned it around.
Super smart kid.
Yeah.
He just liked to start shit.
Well, and in that time frame, there's probably, because there was no ADHD. I mean, there was, but there was no diagnosis of ADHD.
No, they just said that kid's hyper, beat his ass.
Yeah, he's got a problem.
Yeah.
And, now where they would spend a little time and actually try to figure out what's causing some of that.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a neat thing. So my week, I guess I've spent the last 10 days in Lexington, Kentucky, throwing a comic convention for about 25 or 30,000 of our closest friends. And I saw basically nobody that I know there except Jason Ferris.
Yeah.
Who is one of our mutual fraternity brothers. Thank you for coming, Ferris. But overall, it was a stellar weekend. So there comes a lot of joy from me from something that I've never found joy in before, and that is letting my staff do what they do.
Yeah.
I've always been a micromanager, especially on site down there. I wanted to know everything about everything. But this year, I just let the girls in my office and all the, we've got about 25 core staff members down there that just at this point, just know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They don't even need my input. They just can work independently. And I felt like I allowed that to happen this year, and it made my life so much smoother. And I got so much joy just from watching them do what they do. And nobody yelled at me all weekend. So it's that's how we judge a good weekend on a comic convention floor, is how many times do you get yelled at. So I didn't get yelled at a single time.
So the moral of the story, as long as you stay out of the way and let people do the jobs that you've trained them to do.
That's where we're going here, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Katrina says I didn't make her cry one time this weekend. So it
be stressful though. I mean, just
worked out.
that type of event and just the magnitude of some of the people that are coming and making sure you don't drop the ball and all that. So that's
well, mostly it's super long days, and you have to be really detail oriented not to miss the fact that this guy's flight's going to land at 4:45 and he has to have a car there to pick him up and bring him in, and then do all that times 100 and 125 or so.
Yeah.
It's a very demanding few days. Flights start landing Thursday, and people, you bring all those people in from Thursday to Saturday morning, and then from Saturday evening to Monday morning, they're all leaving. So it's a big ballet of flights and cars and all that sort of thing.
So that's basically a week out of town running an event like that.
Yeah.
What is something that you learned? Obviously you learned that your staff could handle things if you get out of the way, but what else did you learn what was something good you learned from, either into the event or one of the people that you met that maybe you didn't know? Or
I learned that you should give everybody a second chance. I think, because I'm not going to say who, but there was a celebrity that I had at the show about 2014, and I swore I would never have this individual back at the event, and he was just a super pain in my ass at the time. In 2014, I was young and stupid and didn't really know how a lot of things worked, and I was trying to figure things out. I was also very high strung. It didn't take much to make me mad. But anyway, over the course of since 2014, several other promoters have told me, you should work with that guy again. You just had a weird experience with him. He's great. So this year we had him back, and he was the model guest. It was like everything was just perfect with this guy. And so I've learned not to, not to hold a grudge a little bit this weekend. Actually, I'll never learn that. I'll always hold a grudge. I'm probably holding 71 of them right now. But anyway, I'll learn to give people a second chance sometimes. I also learned that everything doesn't always work out the way you think it should, because I had several celebrities that we didn't think would make any money that did stellar, and a few that we thought would make a fortune that didn't do shit. So I guess my opinions are, maybe I'm getting so old that I'm out of touch with who does well. But luckily the kids in my office usually know pretty well. So, all right, how was your week? Did you get anything done?
It was 2 good lessons.
You wrote a book for your granddaughter.
Yeah.
How long does it take to write a children's book?
I would say that this one I worked on, it was probably, like I said, she's 4. It was probably 20 pages long or so, and it probably took me 5 or 6 good days of working on it.
Yeah, and you illustrated it too, you said?
Yeah, so, I mean, for that, what I used was, a combination of several different tools. Because the plan, and I think what we're going to do moving forward, because this went over well, and I think it's just kind of something cool that they'll be able to have forever, is I think what we're going to do is I will write the books, and Dixie's pretty talented drawing-wise, but I got to give her time to do that, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, so I think what we'll do is, and then that way it'll be from both of us. So I'll write it, she'll illustrate it, and then it'll be from us as we give more stories. But this one, I used a lot of AI tools.
Yeah.
And used several different AI arts and, like Bitmojis and different things of that nature that would, give me some little pictures and kind of put descriptions. And it, like I said, it turned out pretty well. So
So a lot of professional artists hold themselves to 1 page a day. You know, like a comic artist will draw 1 page a day, sometimes 2 if they're really good. Hell, probably I'm sure there's somebody out there drawing 4 or 5, but most people, as a standard, want them to draw 1 page a day. But you keep in mind, a comic artist, you know, it's done by 3 or 4 different people, because you have somebody that'll do the penciling, and somebody will go back and ink that, and then somebody will color it, and somebody will draw the letters. So it's it can be
something different, you know.
yeah. So
Yeah, so
that'll be
that-
something really cool that she'll have. You know,
That's
when you get hit by a truck, she's gonna have you know.
yeah. When we go as morbid like we did last time,
Yeah.
then yeah.
I mean,
My Wikipedia says wrote some cool stories for his grandkids.
before you get hit by a bus. Yeah. Right. Hey, well, do you have a question?
Yeah, so this week, let's suppose that
Suppose. Okay.
yep, let's suppose
That's
that
another
there's
fucking hypothetical thing, isn't it? Yeah.
there's a magic genie.
Yeah, Magic Jamie. Okay.
But no, what I'm curious is if you that genie said, hey, we're going to drop you into a world,
Mm-hmm.
television series, movie,
Yeah.
something to that effect, and that has to be your new existence. What series or movie plot type of thing would you want to be dropped into?
Okay, so this is going to be the shortest fucking answer in history,
know
because
it.
I got it that quick. It's the Andy Griffith Show.
Andy,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, 100%. No doubt.
and so see, that's why to me in practicality is pretty cool, because I wouldn't have, you could have gave me 100 guesses.
Yep.
And said, I'll give you $1,000 for each one that you get right. And I'd have never got anywhere near Andy Griffith. So that's cool.
So growing up, my mom was addicted to Andy Griffith. So it was on TV at my house 100% of the time, pretty much. If I hadn't commandeered the TV, Andy Griffith reruns were on. I probably know every damned episode by heart. It's like, I don't know. It's Andy Griffith is a deep part of my life all the way around. And something, I guess if you get too deep here, you say, well, those weren't such great times. But at least in the context of the show,
You're dropping into the show when you're living in the show's
yeah, you're
world.
living in the show's world.
Yeah.
There wasn't too much drama going. Otis gets drunk now and then and gets thrown in
and
jail.
puts himself in
and
jail.
puts himself in jail. So,
Barney had one bullet.
yeah,
right?
it's not like there was any terrible things going on there. I don't remember anybody on that show ever dying of cancer or, getting tragically murdered.
Neighbors all
on the
liked
back
each
street.
other,
Yeah.
helped each other out.
Yeah, so I can't think of any reason not to want to live in the Andy Griffith universe. It's North Carolina. The climate's good.
Mhm.
I mean, really, there's just
And that
not.
Ron Howard's a good dude.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, I mean, he grew up to be
He's a
a functioning adult.
top-notch ginger. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I mean,
most kids that did that didn't had different fates. So
Yeah,
he must have had a good experience.
Ron Howard is actually doing a couple of his first comic conventions here over the last 2 or 3 months. He's going to be in Steel City, or in Pittsburgh at Steel City Comic Con here coming up. And we've already talked about, I'd love to have Ron Howard as a guest at our show next year. Basically, just probably to invite my mom down and say, it's so weird because, growing up, I was with my mom. I lived with my mom most of the time and visited my dad. But now I talk to my dad every day. He's been to the comic convention every year. He comes and hangs out, and I talk to him on the phone sometimes twice a day. He's at my house 3 times a week, and I don't see my mom very often. And I think it's just a function of she's in Allville. She doesn't get out very much. She calls me if she needs something. I call her if I have a question or want to pop up. But it's so weird that as time went by, my dad and I got much closer, and my mom and I kind of faded apart a little bit. But I every now and then I had a guy. Several years ago, I had a guy named Richard Tyson at the con, which Richard Tyson's claim to fame is some Skinamax softcore porn thing called Two Moon Junction. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but anyway, my mom and my aunt were big fans of that movie back in the day. So I had Richard Tyson as a guest just to invite my mom and my aunt down to get a photo op with him, and that was pretty cool for them, I think. But I might get a little Opie Taylor down there and see if mom will come down and meet Opie. Pretty much the rest of that cast is dead though, I think.
Yeah.
As a side note, Andy Griffith lived down on the Outer Banks in the later part of his life, and I have an aunt and a cousin that lived on the Outer Banks, and I don't know if this is true, but they always said if you got close to Andy's gate, he'd come out and throw rocks at you.
That's
he's
interesting.
a shitty old man, I guess, but that may or may not be true. I don't know. It's just what I always heard. Anyway, is that a fair answer to your question? I guess
I think it's an incredibly fair answer because it's not one that I would anticipate.
Yeah, I can't believe it was that easy. Like usually you come up with these really hard questions, and that one I just nailed that quick. What about you? Where you at on what universe you in?
Going into it, I was thinking, okay, I get to hold on to the knowledge that I have, or at least if I get to hold on to
I never really thought about that.
the knowledge that I've gotten. But, there was a couple different spots. I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool to be like on a White Lotus or something to that effect.
I haven't seen that show yet.
It's really good. It's it's only on season 4. So
we had Jason Isaacs at the show this weekend.
Oh, okay.
And everybody was talking about White Lotus because I guess.
Well, Goggins is on this one too.
Oh, is he? Okay, yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so I mean, I think it'd be something like that because for one, the beach.
Yeah.
And the love of the ocean. And to just that kind of atmosphere. The other one that I thought that would be a little bit different just because I like to sing and I like the whole aspect, but only if I get to have the knowledge that I get now. Because if I had to go back and look at this from the standpoint of what it was like for me in high school, I'm not sure I'd be as interested. But I think Glee would be kind of fun, even though it was catty and stupid. But I like the idea of all the mashup songs and all that kind of stuff. So I enjoyed watching Glee because I liked the music of it,
Yeah.
But so I mean, I think those would probably be the big things. But I just from the White Lotus perspective to me is just kind of cool because it is just really unique and individual people, and it's always some silliness going on at the resort, but. Andy Griffith. Andy Griffith, and we couldn't have been farther apart on that, though, right? Andy Griffith and White Lotus.
Yeah, you didn't expect that, did you?
That's interesting.
Here's the thing. I don't know. Like you said, that having all the knowledge, like I don't know.
I think it changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah, for Andy Griffith, I don't know if I need the knowledge. It's just like I said, there's not much to navigate there.
You almost
other than,
don't want to have the knowledge you have today.
Not pissing Thelma Lou off for some reason or whatever, or not making Barney try to shoot you with his one bullet. So I don't know. It's weird. What else were we talking about? Shit. White Lotus. Jason Isaacs. Jason Isaacs is a hell of a good guy, by the way. Have you been watching The Righteous Gemstones at all?
Oh,
yeah.
I watched every season as soon as they're released.
I'm not current at all. Like I'm through season 2, I think.
Okay.
And there's 4 of them out now, I think.
Well, the 4th season and final season.
Okay.
Just started. 1 episode was released.
Yeah. I love that show.
And the show is incredible.
Who's the best character on that show?
I think I probably like the sister the
Yeah,
most.
Judy. Yeah. That's 100%.
Yeah.
She is 100% the best character on that show.
But I do love the skews and the little things with the youngest brother and his friend and kind of the gay turn a little bit. There's been some really funky storylines there too.
Okay, yeah, I haven't. I can't wait to get caught up. It's on my list for the next week or two now that things are settled down a little bit for me. But.
It's probably exactly what you need is some good righteous gemstones to clear the mind.
Yeah, I'd love to get Danny McBride to the show. I don't see that happening. Did you see the Theo Vaughn, Danny McBride interview that just came out?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You should watch that. All right, so I got a question for you, and mine's way different from yours, which I guess is
kind of the goal.
I'm not sure this question's not a HIPAA violation.
I'm not a doctor, so we should be good.
Yeah. You're not good. We're good here. Is he doing something?
He was trying to eat some paper.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. So only because it became acutely aware it became acutely aware. I became acutely,
Yeah,
stop,
nailed it.
nailed it. I became acutely aware of this while I was in Lexington. I take a lot of damn pills, like, prescribed, legitimately.
Yeah.
I became aware of it because I can't ever remember to take them. So I bought myself one of these big damn pill boxes with all the dates and
Yep.
shit, and I filled it all up. And I believe that at this point I'm into 7 or 8 pills a day. That my wonderful doctor has told me that I need to take to live, and I don't believe that really. And I think that's probably why I have trouble taking them. But what kind of drugs, John? Right? That's the question.
Yeah.
And what do they do for you or to you, or do they fuck you up? Do they make you better? What do they do for you?
Yep. The interesting thing is this is a little bit of a callback to like one of our second. I think it was our second
Did
episode.
we do this already?
Little bit.
Okay,
But
I'm
yeah, because
sorry.
really the main thing we talked about at that point was your just ridiculous use of Advil.
Oh yeah,
And the fact that you take like,
I still do that.
800 milligrams 3 times a day and you're killing your kidneys.
Yeah. Okay.
But, for one, I don't take any medications. The only thing I take is basically a couple vitamins. So I don't have anything that I have to take on a regular basis. I don't have any blood
pisses
pressure.
me off. It pisses me.
No crazy pills. No,
Mm.
nothing as of right now. So very blessed
You're
in
making
that
me
respect.
feel. You're making me feel fucked up here. You're making me feel old.
Yeah. But tend to think that, I'm probably one that I don't blindly give physicians a pass,
Yeah.
but I also respect the fact of them hopefully being educated to look at that.
Yeah.
If I get to the point where I was taking a bunch of medications, I'd probably get a second opinion. If there was more than, if there was ones that I thought they were on, but
Well, it's like every time I go to the doctor for anything, my knee hurts or whatever. I leave with another prescription, and they don't trade you out. They don't say, well, you can quit taking that other one and take this one now. I mean, usually, so it just ends up, I don't know. I read a thing at a chiropractor's office one time, hanging on the wall. Of course, it was at a chiropractor's office, so take that where you want. But it said if you dump every medication in the world into the ocean, there'd be a lot of healthy humans and a lot of sick fish.
that I think is accurate.
Yeah. But I don't know. I got 2 for blood pressure, 2 for my stomach being fucked up, 1 crazy pill because I'm crazy, legitimately, probably. I don't know. I don't even remember what
we may get canceled for calling it a crazy pill.
Yeah, we will. Hey, so I'm included in that. We're talking about crazies yet, and good people.
But yeah, and I know what you're saying because, like I said, I think the challenge sometimes too is that I bet if you took 100 people and you lined them up, and at least in the physician's mindset,
Yeah.
they would say, okay, if somebody comes in here, they expect to walk out with something.
Well, I guess a doctor has to justify their own. Doctors be doctoring,
Yeah.
I guess if you're a doctor, that's one of the tools in your tool belt. And when somebody comes in and says, "Hey, whatever,"
But I think we also have to actively participate in our.
yeah.
So, going in and having a conversation with a physician and going, look, I'm X amount of years old. You've got me on 7 pills. I feel like that's too much. Are there any of these that we can get rid of? Or are you telling me if I don't take this, I have a stroke and die in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, unfortunately that's what they tell me about my blood pressure, but I still don't take it very often. I'm a horrible patient, really.
Well, I think blood pressure is one of those you don't mess with.
Well, although that said, I think when I was in school, they said your blood pressure should be 120/80.
Yeah.
And high blood pressure's considerably higher than that. But now when I go in there and they say, oh, well, your blood pressure's high, I think it's not that high. It's, like, 140/95 or something like that. It's not like, I'm stroke out level or anything, but they make me take 2 pills a day for that. And I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I just throw all that shit away. If I threw all that shit away and lost 50 pounds somehow, I'd probably be okay.
I think a lot of that too
just got
depends on diet, exercise. That was,
Yeah, you probably eat way better than me. So
well, yeah, like I said,
I think we've discussed that at length. You actually eat meals. So
yes, yeah.
So yeah, that's probably part of it, I guess.
Get rid of a lot of the sodium and things of that nature. But
that shit's good for you, though. I mean,
it tastes,
and by that I mean it tastes good. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could be like my daughter, like I said, the one that goes to the farmer's market. The reason they're going to the farmer's market every Saturday is to get what they're going to cook for their meals that week. And every meal, 7 days a week, they're probably, or, if you said 30 days in a month, they're probably eating something they've cooked themselves 28 of those, 29 of those days. So there's not much fast food. There's not a lot of eating out and those kind of things. I wish I could be that detailed.
I cooked myself a scrambled egg sandwich this morning. That's the most cooking that's happened in this house in a long time.
Scrambled egg sandwich?
Yeah. Katrina and I got talking about it the other day, and ever since we had a discussion about them, I decided I had to have one. So I went to the Walmart last night and bought eggs.
It was expensive.
Fuck yes, it was.
It was a mortgage payment.
Yeah. No shit. It was like $2 an egg.
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
Crazy.
Or $1 an egg. It's craziness, man.
Glad that came down on day one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the deep state's killing all the fucking chickens, I've heard.
Did it deliver? Did the egg sandwich deliver?
Fuck yes, it did.
Eggs are good, man.
100% it delivered.
And I think they're back to being good for you again.
Really?
I think the pendulum has swung.
No. Eggs are bad for you now, right?
I thought eggs were back to being good.
Maybe. I don't know. I came home from the comic convention and there was like literally nothing in my refrigerator. Nothing. There was a 2-month-old pan of dead spaghetti in my refrigerator last night. So I went to Walmart, and how much do you think it takes to put a respectable amount of groceries in your cart at Walmart these days?
I would say you're at least upwards of $200, maybe $300.
$348 for not even a level to the top cart of groceries. And this is just bullshit. I didn't buy steaks. This is just bullshit, like ketchup and mustard. And, I had nothing in my refrigerator. It looked like a homeless person's refrigerator. Not even a ton of stuff. And it's $348 fucking dollars. It's unbelievable. But it is, coming down day one. So I digress, I guess. What else? Tell me something good.
Something good.
I play that game around my office all the time, and it shockingly pisses everybody off these days. Nobody wants to tell you anything good.
Nobody wants to tell you anything good.
They'll say, shut up, I don't have anything good. And it's supposed to be a fun game, but it doesn't work.
No, you'd think so. I think one of the things, I was thinking about this actually earlier today, that to me is interesting, that if I run into a friend or an acquaintance or something to that effect, somebody you haven't seen in a little bit,
Yep.
and they ask you, how you doing?
Oh, God.
You go to two things. One, you tell them, they ask how you doing. They didn't say, hey, how's your job? But I'm the world's worst for this, and I hate it every time that I do it, but it's the go-to. And is like, how you doing? Oh, man, pretty good. Staying real busy with work. Gosh, what do you think about the weather? That's your two things. And to me, it's just kind of sad, but yet.
Do you think that is primarily a nicety that no one really expects an answer for?
Yeah. I think that's what they're expecting, that generic answer or like some little highlight or whatever. And it's like, okay, now we can move on and get on to
It's
next.
the worst ever in retail because, customer approaches the counter or whatever. They got, something they want to buy. They put it on the counter and say, hey, how you doing today? Fuck. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh my God, my hip's been acting up and, the fucking dog died and grandma's sick and fucking sometimes they'll stand there for 30 minutes and tell you something. And then they're pissed off at you if you don't display the correct amount of empathy for them or whatever. So I've tried to quit asking people how they're doing. Really, that's why a lot of times I'll lead with just tell me something good.
Yeah, to me though, I can appreciate that in a work setting, right?
Yeah.
Especially in retail. But I mean, hell, you and I have probably done it a million times and we honestly
Yeah.
care how real shit is going with
Yeah.
the other one.
Yeah.
But yet we're still going to probably default to that.
Yeah, you default to well, business sucks or
Yeah.
or business is great.
Yeah.
It's
got
always,
a good haul today.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
to-
it's always that. By the way, this just led me to something. 2 hours ago, Ryan and I were looking at a building in downtown where we live here in Ashland, wonderful old Ashland, Kentucky, and we were looking at an old defunct church because I thought I might want a church. I don't really know why, but I asked Ryan to show it to me. It turns out I don't want that church. But while we were standing out front, a dude pulls up on a bicycle, and they just stand there shooting the shit with us. And eventually he goes, "Is that you, Jerry?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, it's me." And I don't even remember what he said his name was, but he talked to us for fucking 5 to 8 minutes, and I have no idea who that dude was. I don't know. I don't know if you thought I did or what, but no fucking clue who that guy was.
I thought it was really odd to start with that the guy would just randomly ride up on a bicycle and stop and get off his bike and just, yeah, I'm part of your conversation.
Yeah, here I am. Let me in. Yeah.
And then, then I heard him say the Jared, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess maybe it's some, which I thought it was odd because it wasn't like he was in our age demographic.
Yeah, no, much older dude.
So I was like,
He
well,
told
that's
me
a weird
while
buddy
we're
for you
sitting
to
there, he
have.
was telling me he got divorced and all this shit. Like,
Going out there. Yeah, I heard him telling the story about his new girl that he's dating.
I'm like, man, this guy's got a lot of information and shit. I don't know. That was kind of the highlight of my day, to be honest.
Yeah, that's even funnier that you had no clue
Yeah,
who it was.
no clue whatsoever. As soon as he rode off, Katrina said, "Who was that?" Fuck, I have no idea. I don't. That probably happens to you a ton because your face is on billboards in town.
Yeah, I have a lot of times people walk up to me and it's like, I don't know how I know you, but how do we know each other?
Yeah, I guess you have to do that as a realtor, but I don't think I could ever just put my own smiling mug on a billboard.
Said,
It's like, look at me.
remember that healthy hubris?
Yeah.
But-
But like I said, I guess it's part of the game as a realtor.
Well, no, the funnest part for me is whenever somebody comes that has kids. I always love that because the kids, if they've seen me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're famous!" And I was like, "No, I just had enough money to buy that particular billboard at the time."
Well,
But it's kind of cool because they get really excited, to a certain age. You know?
yeah. I do remember vividly as I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 years old. My stepmother worked in an advertising agency, and at some point throughout the deal, they did a thing with like a bank or some shit. And they needed somebody to put on a billboard. So my stepmom worked there. They just snapped her picture in the fucking office and put her on a billboard, She was just a insert random
She was a little
person.
circle
But
person.
but I thought she was famous as fuck because she was on that billboard. That was a big damn
It's a
deal.
cool deal,
That was a cool deal. I still remember that billboard was right there by the Blockbuster. Those guys won't sell me.
It's back. I think it's back up. It's available.
It's not like literally listed on the MLS, is it?
I'll find out. They're one of those buildings is over there for sale, but
Yeah. Well, so brief story of the Blockbuster. Ashland, Kentucky has a Blockbuster. It was a fully set up Blockbuster. Like when Blockbuster moved out, they left the shelves, they left the cashiers, they left everything in there.
sign, yeah.
The sign, all of it sitting there, ready to go for the last 15 years.
Literally time stopped.
Yeah, they just locked the door one day, left, and that was it. And I have wanted that building so fucking bad for years. But the guy that owns the building, he don't want to sell it to me, at least. I don't know. I've called him and asked about it multiple times because literally on the sign it says for sale.
Yeah.
And the phone number, but when you call him, they'll say, well, he doesn't really want to sell it, or he only wants to sell it to a national brand, or he only wants to do this or only wants to do that. And I got so mad because last year somebody decided to get up on the roof and fucked up the Blockbuster sign. They took it down one letter at a time over the course of about a month. And then busted some of the windows out of it. A lot of vandalization has happened to it over the last year or so, and to me that is just such a crime because it would have been so much fun to have opened that place.
Now, what would you have?
Fucking Blockbuster, man.
Oh, you did.
I mean, some model. I don't know what the actual model would have been, but I would have, had I been able to got that building, I probably would have tried to license the Blockbuster name.
Somebody still owns it.
Yeah, there is still I mean, I think Paramount or somebody owns Blockbuster, but there is still one functioning Blockbuster store. There's a Netflix documentary about it.
That documentary is pretty fascinating about how just the evolution of the industry and Blockbuster.
Yep.
And the fact that Blockbuster had an opportunity to buy Netflix really cheap at one point.
I think you could make national news if you got that Blockbuster building and you opened it back up under the Blockbuster name. I think you could make national news saying the last Blockbuster is getting some fucking competition.
It's coming back.
Coming back. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what it would be. Obviously, you're not going to rent VHSs, but but there has to be some model that fits into the family night dynamic of what a video store was back in the day.
That was cool. I mean, it was an event to go to a Blockbuster and pick out everything. It was interesting that just like the movies, which is probably why they're defunct at this point, but it was still kind of cool. And remember, you go in there. Remember, they had the big candies. You could buy the candy, the popcorn, and basically everything. So you went there, and it was just like going to the movies, a little bit cheaper because you're going home to watch it. But they were making all their money, especially towards the end, just off of the stuff that they were selling, like the candy and that kind of stuff.
It's I don't know. There's nothing like that anymore. There's nothing. I can't think of a store that you can go to and buy yourself entertainment for the evening. I mean, you can go see a movie, obviously, but I guess you could go buy a board game or something. But who the fuck does that anymore? I don't know. It's so strange. Where we've got with I guess home entertainment as a whole, because I remember
I think games are coming a lot more back. A lot more back than what.
Yeah, board games are a big deal. We have a hell of a big board game room at the convention that at 11 o'clock at night there's 300 people in playing Monopoly.
Monopoly
or whatever. Yeah. Card games,
exploding kittens.
Yeah. Everybody likes exploding kittens and Cards Against Humanity. I don't know. It's weird. There's just not. I'm nostalgic for it because I guess it was a thing. I remember having to rent a VCR. You remember ever renting a VCR?
Yep.
Like because they weren't like super available. You had to be.
And they were relatively expensive.
Yeah.
So.
Like my dad had a VCR early on, but my mom, if we wanted to watch a movie there, we had to rent a VCR. That was I don't know, different times, I guess. Now that computers are here, you can get any movie you want immediately. So, is that progress? No.
Yeah, that's that would be a whole topic.
That's
conversation.
A whole other topic, I guess. Whole other bullshit. Anyway, all right. Well, we've about beat this to death today, probably.
You don't know how to end this,
huh?
You don't know how to end this.
How to end this?
That's your issue with FaceTiming or stopping anything.
100%. I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to stop. I
think that's our exit plan.
We did Facebook.
Anything starts dragging, the other one just says, "I don't know how to make it stop."
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did that on Facebook Live the other day. Oh, wait a minute. Stop. I got to tell you another story. Shit. This is a good convention story. I made about a 15-minute Facebook Live on Saturday morning at the convention, walking the line, talking to people who were in line waiting to get in.
It's pretty lengthy.
All this shit. It was like 15 minutes worth of Facebook Live. I didn't hit the go live button. I did it for nothing.
Is that good interaction with your people?
Just walking around filming them for fucking nothing.
And you're so excited. Oh, wait, I just recorded.
Yep. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to turn it off and realized I never turned it on. That's why I couldn't turn it off. Yeah, anyway, that's indicative of my life, I guess.
We can leave it there.
Yep. All right. Have a good one.
Later.
And just like that, another episode of Two Guys, Two Questions is in the books. We laughed, we learned, well, we mostly just laughed.
Yeah, and if you made it this far, congratulations. You now have random knowledge you never asked for.
You're welcome.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. Or don't, but just know if you don't, we're bringing back the squeaky toys.
Oh, it's coming back either way.
Until next time, same two guys, two questions, and absolutely no idea what we're doing.
Perfect.